Okay. So, as Ron said, my name is Kalpana Berman. I've been at Intel for roughly 10 years, and the last few years, I've had the privilege of being a product manager in what we call our Immersive experience team. And I've been managing a team of user experience researchers, designers, and architects to enable some pretty cool experiences. So originally, I was going to talk about a couple domains that we were exploring the last few years in both fashion, shopping, and sports, but then decided it got a little bit too confusing and just kind of zone in on sports. So we actually believe that there's going to be a fundamental shift in how people consume content for sports, both live content and or replay and highlights. There are approximately 170 million US Major League sports fans right now, and about 65% of them consume sports online, some kind of sports content online, and the majority of them do it through the PC. However, they've been pretty limited in how they consume this content. Broadcasters give them a pre-curated view of what they can see, and they have no choice, control, or even any kind of immersive experience when it comes to watching or experiencing sports games. And leagues, we want to actually change this in two ways. We want to offer sports fans choice and control in what they want to see by giving them any angle, any view that they want to see, any data that they want to see at their fingertips, and we want to do it enabling existing and new form factors. We've also been talking a lot to broadcasters and leagues, and they're actually recognizing that there's a change in these distribution methods and that the way people consume sports. And they're really looking at new ways to engage these fans and obviously monetize those opportunities. So I'm going to play a couple videos for you guys to illustrate what I'm talking about. The first one is kind of what we've been doing the last few months. And the second one is a concept video way far down the line. Just take it as a little bit of inspiration, and then I'll tell you what we're doing specifically to enable these experiences. So if you give me a second, this is what we've been currently doing. Let me, sorry guys.
In every game, there are moments worthy of another look. From every angle in the house.
All right. So I don't know how many have actually seen this through the NBA Finals, if anybody's following sports or the NBA. We actually acquired a company called Replay that uses what we call 3D technology, where they're capturing content and actually building a 3D reconstruction of the entire field and its players. So they render everything into 3D voxels versus pixels, and this allows both broadcasters and eventually fans to be able to interact with the content in a way that they haven't before. So you're not looking at a 2D thing. I can go and see this guy dunk Aaron Gordon, for example, or whoever it is, Stephen Curry, shoot a three-pointer either from in front of him, behind him, from the sideline, wherever I choose to. I'm not fixated on an actual point of view that somebody's giving me from a broadcast solution. And then I'm going to play you, sorry there's no audio, just a little bit, oh no, what happened? Of the future.
There's no time to waste. I was all alone, yeah, I was all alone, but I can feel you coming up slowly. Now you're moving fast, now you're moving. This sign is coming through. Bang that drum, all you lose. There's nothing else you can do. Watch out, we let it go. There's no time to waste, you don't want this.
All right, we'll stop with Russell Wilson there. So a little bit hokey, but there's some things that we truly believe are going to happen there. And actually a little bit of that content, that tabletop content where you saw the 3D field was actually produced with that company that we just acquired, Replay. So it's just a little taste of what the future can look like. So when we talk about immersion and these immersive experiences, we view things a few different ways. So we basically talk about immersion experiences across two vectors. So one is all about heightening the sensory experience, which you're all aware of, what I see, feel, eventually what I touch. And the other one is to enable more natural interactions to really mimic real-world scenarios. Another aspect and how Intel particularly views immersion is we've all talked about presence and deeply engaging experiences, but these new form factors are also enabling this new era of personalization. It's really about what you can see. It's not necessarily, it could be part of a shared experience, but you control what you see, when you want to see it, and how you want to see it. And this is really driving a lot of the experiences that we're working with. And then a final thing, as we're enabling experiences across these domains like sports, is that there's different modes and situations that people want to experience these things. If I'm in my living room all alone watching content, yeah, I'll throw on a VR headset and watch something. If I'm in a social environment in a game, I might put on an AR headset to see what's going on in the game. I might be on the go, so maybe I'm just gonna private smartphone screen and enable interactions through there. So we really want to enable these experiences for all these different modes across a range of devices, from a standard PC to some of the things in the future, like VR and AR headsets. So another thing that we found that these immersive experiences have in common is they all kind of have this three-step, at a very high level, process. So I'm going to dive a little bit into the capture, into the creation, and the consumption in the sports part, and particularly how we did kind of that first clip that you saw and how we're going to do it in the future. So when it comes to capture, Intel's been investing in various technologies to be able to capture different things. Everything from capturing 3D depth data with RealSense to be used to measure bodies or objects or spaces, to Intel Curie for measuring analytics, like how fast players could run, to technologies like Intel Replay, which allows you to capture live events like the sports ones we just saw. For that particular clip we just saw in the NBA one, we put up 28 cameras, so there's 28 5K cameras up there that gives you a full field coverage of the entire field. And they're each actually attached to a server that does all the processing, and I'll get into how much data that is in a second. The second thing that Intel's been doing is investing quite a bit in standardization across different areas. So just as an example, we are chairing a committee to standardize the measurement of bodies and the things that go on the body and how they fuse together, because we believe truly that interoperability is key to the end user and to the software value chain providers that are doing these experiences. So I mentioned that each one of those cameras is actually hooked up to a server. Just for a little relevant piece of data, currently 1 second of a film that we capture produces 1 terabyte of data. So that is a lot of stuff to crunch through, stitch together, encode, and distribute across to a bunch of users. So obviously this is, I believe, right in our wheelhouse in terms of optimizations. So we're working with our server groups and our architects along with Replay to optimize that and give you highlights of the game or a live game at the latencies that are required. So we know that broadcasters, for example, want something within 5 to 10 seconds, or else it's pretty much useless. You're not going to show it again. Fans, there's a huge drop on watching clips after about 24 hours. So we need to be able to provide them the content within 24 hours at a visual quality that they want. And so we're working with our architects to try to make a solution for that. Obviously, we see a big play in machine learning in various spaces here. Right now, it's an honestly very manual process in terms of like picking the clips and everything, and I don't know if you've seen broadcasters in action, it's chaotic. Nothing is automated. And we think there's a huge play here to really analyze the plays, take what's important, predict what's coming next, and enable that capture in a very automated fashion versus how it's operating right now. And then the final phase is this consumption phase. So I'm talking about, in these models, we're talking about fans. But there's also other end users that we are targeting. So there's the officials that we're targeting with some of these technologies. There's the broadcasters that might want to use the content in different ways. And then there's coaches and athletes that might want to use some of these solutions for their very specific purposes. So the models that we see here could extend to some of them, but I was focused on fan. And I just wanted to present like the 3 kind of different modes of immersion when you're talking about sports, right? Intel being Intel, we're still going to be tackling the one all the way on the left. It's going to take a while to transition to these innovative new form factors, and so we want to enable a new way to watch or relive a game just on a screen. So that play that you just saw, we want users to actually create their own play. They can be their own director. They can pick an angle that they want, zoom in at whatever level they want, stitch together whatever content they want, and be able to share it seamlessly across any range of devices. Then we move on to the mixed reality realm, where you are putting on some kind of augmented glass or form factor to actually see the data that you want to see over it. I know the leagues are super excited, for example, in the stadium when you're putting on glasses to be able to see relevant data. I don't know how many of you have been to games and you're Googling something about some player who just did something, or you're picking up the booklet to see who's actually the starting guy. Oh, what was that guy's number? Oh, what did he do last week? Whatever. Or even like, who was his wife that's sitting on the sideline? So really cool interactions that you could just see via AR, I think is awesome in Stadium. And the same in the game at home while you're, you saw a little clip of it in terms of what we're doing when you're in these social shared experiences while watching sports. And then finally, we have your traditional kind of occluded head-mounted displays, which really allow you to be part of the game. We think that with this Replay 3D technology, this takes it to a next level. So I'm not at a fixed point of view. I can actually be on the field, walk around, look at all the players around me, see what they're catching, punting, whatever. I just put a set up. Just did a demo the other day. I put up on a VR headset for actual athletes and coaches. And it was awesome. Like, you literally felt like they were going to tackle you. Like, you put on a VR headset, you take a step back, and it was unbelievable. Anyways, so I'm going to wrap it up a little bit. I'm just going to say from a personal standpoint, so as I said, I've been at Intel about 10 years. I've worked a lot on the traditional chips and other projects. But this is the first time in the last few years that I've really seen Intel take a user-centric approach. It's been transformational, in my opinion, for me, and we're trying to build solutions that solve people's problems and really enable amazing experiences versus invent technology and find solutions for them. So thank you very much. Thanks all for listening.